The Snowglobe Cafe. The snow fell in slow, lazy flakes, drifting down from the grey sky like feathers dropped by some invisible bird. Outside, the streets of Alderwood were quiet, muffled beneath the thick white blanket that had been building since morning. Christmas lights winked softly from shop windows, their reflection shimmering on the icy pavements, but the town itself felt almost still, like it had been wrapped up in a thick scarf and tucked into a peaceful sleep. Inside the Snowglobe Cafe, however, life hummed with gentle warmth. The scent of cinnamon and roasted chestnuts mingled with the soft undertone of coffee, forming a fragrance that seemed to hug you from the moment you stepped in. Firelight danced along the walls, flickering over shelves set with books, board games, and tiny glass ornaments. Every table was set with little candles, casting pools of golden light, and in the corner a small Christmas tree twinkled, its decorations modest but perfectly charming. Miriam, the cafe's owner, was perched behind the counter, her hand wrapped around a steaming mug of chai. Steam was curling in front of her face like a lazy morning mist as she watched the snow falling through the window, with her thoughts wandering. It had always been her favourite time of year, the quiet between the Christmas and the New Year, when people slowed down just enough to notice the little things, like the pattern of frost on a window, the warmth of a woolen scarf, and the gentle laugh of a stranger sharing a table. A soft chime rang above the door, and in stepped a man whose boots crunched through the thin layer of snow clinging to the doorway. He shook off his coat and gloves, letting out a small puff of laughter at the cold, and he smiled at Miriam. "Evening," he said, his voice low and warm. "Is there room for one more in your little winter world?" "Always," Miriam replied, gesturing towards an empty seat by the window. The man moved over, sitting down and placing a leather-bound notebook on the table. His name was Thomas, though Miriam hadn't known him long. He had drifted into the town a few weeks before, like a leaf caught on a winter breeze, stopping at the cafe as if he had always belonged there. For a while they simply watched the snow together. The world outside seemed slower, calmer, and the small cafe felt like the only place untouched by the rush of everyday life. Miriam poured him a cup of spiced hot chocolate, and the surface swirled with a delicate pattern of whipped cream. She did the same for herself, and they sipped quietly, letting the warmth seep into their hands and into their thoughts. "Do you ever feel," Thomas began softly, "like the world's moving too fast, even when it isn't? Like everything's rushing towards something, but you just want to stay here?" Miriam smiled, understanding perfectly. "All the time," she said, "which is why I keep this place. A pause, a little pocket where people can just be." Thomas nodded, setting his mug down. "I think that's why I came here. You know, the snow, the lights, it's like stepping into a story." Miriam looked around at the cafe, the flickering candlelight, the muted laughter of the few other patrons, the smell of baked gingerbread lingering in the air. She understood exactly what he meant. For a moment, the world outside the cafe didn't exist at all. A soft knock at the door interrupted their quiet, and Miriam stood to open it. A young woman, cheeks flushed from the cold, was holding a small box wrapped in brown paper, which was tied with a string. I didn't want to get lost in the crowd," she said, smiling sheepishly. I wanted to give this to someone who might need it." Miriam took the box, unwrapping it carefully, and inside was a tiny, delicate snow globe, which inside of this had a miniature version of the Snowglobe Cafe, complete with its twinkling lights and the little Christmas tree in the corner. Thomas leaned over, his eyes reflecting the candlelight. "It's perfect," he whispered. The young woman shrugged, her smile shy but genuine. "I just thought someone should know that magic still exists, even in small places, especially in small places." She nodded at the cafe, then slipped out, leaving behind the soft sound of the door chime and the faint crunch of snow. Miriam placed the snow globe on the counter, watching as Thomas traced the tiny windows with his finger. "It's like a reminder," he said. "Even when everything feels too big, too cold, too fast, there's always a place to pause." Outside, the snow continued to fall, soft and steady, blanketing the streets and rooftops in quiet white. Inside, the cafe glowed, a small sanctuary against the chill of the winter night. Candlelight flickered, steam rose from mugs, laughter and gentle conversation wove together like a soft scarf wrapped around the heart. And for a few hours, time itself seemed to slow. The world could wait. Here in this warm little corner of Alderbrook, the snow kept falling, the lights kept twinkling, and the magic, just as the young woman had said, was alive in the smallest of places. Miriam poured herself another cup of chai, and Thomas poured another hot chocolate. They raised their mugs, a silent toast to the small joys, to quiet moments, and to the simple enduring magic of a winter's night. Outside the snow fell, and inside the hearts warmed. And all was right, at least for now, in the little world of the Snowglobe Cafe.